Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I reached across the pond again to fantastic England and got my good friend Leroy Roberts on here from Teamwork Solutions Limited. And Leroy is a coach that I've reached out to from time to time to really kind of pick his brain on a few clients that I know I'm working with and kind of get his take on how he'd handle it. Nothing confidential, of course, but just kind of get his take because he has a really fun take. We're kind of brothers from another mothers with both in the military, both serve, both have a passion for helping people level up. And I can't wait to bring you this interview. I have pages of notes, so you might want to sit back with a notebook and just kind of relax because the knowledge nuggets that my good friend Leroy drops are just above reproach. And if you like it, please smash the like button, the subscribe button, because my sponsors and affiliates absolutely love that. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, also fellow coaching colleague, Leroy Roberts from Teamwork Solutions Limited. Let's level up. Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I'm reaching across the pond to somebody that I immensely respect, another kind of big physical man on this earth like myself, dominating on stage, rocks that mic, and he carries a stage so well. Is my good friend Leroy Roberts. He's a leadership and communication expert who helps C-suite executives tackle disengaged teams, low morale, and high turnover. With a background in the British Army, I know, British Army. We were joking off mic about that. And Jamaica Constabulary Force, along with 18 years of global experience, he brings deep expertise in leadership and team dynamics, mentored by Les Brown and Ken, I always butcher this name, Ken Surungby. He empowers individuals through his books and speeches, advocating for inclusive leadership committed to social change. Leroy also serves as a non-executive director for the London Mutual Credit Union, promoting financial inclusivity and community growth. And we just were talking about company names, which he just kind of flipped it into Teamwork Solutions Limited, which often like we were kind of talking about, wow, it was a great move. And Leroy, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
In the background, blue.
Blue, my
It keeps,
man.
it
That's
keeps me
right.
calm. It keeps me calm, and I think it's something that displays seriousness and connection. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now. It has a nice little blue hue to it, my friend. Good stuff, man. And you're going to come here and visit soon, which I cannot wait. And I can't wait to, like,
Yes,
again,
yeah.
rock some stages with you. I would open for you any day of the week, my friend. So let's get to the roots, man. You have a lot here and you help a lot of people level up. But what was your roots to get started? That kind of aha flip-flop moment that got you to where you are, where you're highly sought after, and that someone that I immensely respect.
No, thank you so much, Scott. And
You're
I
welcome.
first I want to celebrate you and what you do with the Time to
Oh,
Shine team. It's amazing, and I think
thank
you
you.
are a force for good. And history will look back upon you very
Yeah,
kindly for the great work you're doing now.
thank you.
It's amazing to be here and to share this stage with you, and just
Yeah.
for the opportunity to share some of what I've been doing and the impact I have been having. So my journey has been long,
Mm.
and I always say that the person you see now, I am not self-made. Many people contributed to
That's
me. And I always say this: I have been made both by the kindness and cruelty of others. And all of that came together to make this person that you see here today. So it has been an extraordinary journey, starting from the Caribbean to Europe. And of course, I do come across to the pond quite frequently. And I think my time serving in the services has given me length and breadth, a lot of opportunity to see many places and to work alongside other people.
yeah,
And I think that has really given me a frame of reference and appreciation for different perspectives and different background.
right.
And when I have decided to make the transition, I think it was only good to share that I have learned. And I know you have learned a lot yourself as
Yeah,
a fellow brother in arms.
right.
And just to take that to the business space. And I think there is a real issue there when it comes to disengagement and disconnection
Right.
with teams and leadership. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what I'm passionate about.
It's beautiful, squad. You hear that the person you see now is not self-made. We need community. He's
Mm.
self-made by the kindness and the cruelty of others. There's lessons. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and you and I are striving to be a giant that people stand on the shoulders of, so we can pay it forward as well. And I love that you added Cruelty as well, because we need those people to
Of
shape
course.
us, right?
Yeah, because one thing I've come to understand is not just who we should be, but also who we should not be like. And I think you need that, because when you see the choices that many people have made, you can learn from this. That's a warning. That's something to
So
avoid.
strong. Yeah, man. It's kind of like when our parents would like catch us right before we were about to do something stupid. Say jump off a roof of a house or something like that, right? Where we're like, we're invincible. But you're right, because it locks into that subconscious mind of what we don't want to do. So we bring it to the forefront of the conscious. So talk to me about the coaching, man. Like, what do you feel, Leroy, makes a great coach?
A great coach is a great coach because that's an individual who is not in business just to take, but they have a burning desire to give back. And I think what we're suffering from is a lot of takers. And as a coach, if you are in it for the right reason and you have that conviction to really add value to people, and that's the key word, adding value, because we have a lot of value robbers and we need more value adders.
Yeah,
And what
love
I've come
that.
to
Yeah.
understand is that a lot of people in this space, it's not that they lack value themselves, they're just not adding value because they
Right.
have not yet figured out their why.
Yeah.
And I think a good coach is somebody who can help people to draw out the deep-seated potential they have and to become the best version of themselves they can be.
That's strong.
And my advice to you is choose wisely, because in this space, I have had some horrible coaches, and I have
I'm laughing with you, man. I promise you. Yeah. It's such a low threshold to become one, right?
Of
You
course.
don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have anything. Everybody feels they're a coach until they run into a situation with a client that person, not the client, but that coach is about themselves. They chase that dollar. Like the reason why I feel that I excel and like you excel, I'm sure, is that our superpower is curiosity, right?
Correct.
We are curious. Like we want to see that person become the best version of themselves, hold them accountable, kindly reprimand them when they come off course. But we're also, I got to ask you something, because you do have like the credit unions, stuff like that you're involved in. Do you find yourself consulting also?
Yes, and you see, one of the things that is good about me, because of the spread, my background has always been service. So it has never, my motivation has never been money. And you know that if you have work in the services area, and I'm now referring to the police
Right. Yeah.
and the military, is
Right.
that it's not for the money. They don't pay you enough to live a big fancy life.
Right.
And so in the nonprofit area, which the credit union, it is member centric. It's all about members first. And we work primarily for the interests of members. And we have to ensure that we always be fair to them, and we have an obligation and a duty to ensure that the decisions we take is in their best interest, not only for them, but their families.
Yes, sir.
And for future generations.
Love that. That you're looking forward to what they are. Like I'm almost seeing you, because I'm just a coach. I don't say just a coach, but I'm a coach because I'm blessed to coach millionaires, 1 billionaire, and people. And it's like they have businesses that they forgot more about than I'll ever know. But I also know that a lot of people know what they want. Well, everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it. Right. And that's where a great coach, a curious coach, a caring coach, a giving coach really comes in, and we listen with our neck, not just our ears, all of our senses, that we're pulling it out of them. So when it comes to like, I'll call you a coach sultan, because there's things that you can do that you're
I love
experienced
it. I
with,
love it.
right? In there. So let's say you're in a discovery period with your one-on-one program, which squad I will get to is one-on-one program that you definitely will want to be a part of. But let's say you're in a discovery period, making sure you're the right horse for the course, the right coach, right? So is there like any, like we'll call it secret sauce or something, maybe, like when you're kind of having that discovery and you're really trying to shine a light on that blind spot? What is your process for doing that?
No, the process is definitely, you want to create an environment of psychological safety so
Oh
that
my
the
gosh, that's
client
dude.
must feel free and open to be able to share what it is that is the real issue, because most of the time they are stating the symptoms, and sometimes they don't know what the problem is. So you have to be a really good listener. But once you can create that space where they can speak freely and say what it is that is the pain, then with permission from them, you can help to provide.
Oh my God, dude. Thank you, bro. What was that P word again?
Permission.
Yes. How many people you'll talk to that say they're coaches and they just go right into coaching? Like,
bad.
Dude, that's terrible, right? And I'm sorry any coaches out there do it, but get it right. Start getting it right. Because, and there's so many easy ways to ask for permission. Like my technique, Leroy, is like if I saw you and you talked about an issue, be like, hey, Leroy, what, man? I have some things that might work for you. I have some ideas. They might work. They might be stupid ideas. And I always add that. They might be stupid ideas. But if you have time to sit down and rap about it, like, please let me know. Like, that's kind of asking them permission to talk to them about stuff, right? I mean, but people would just be like, if you said, Fergie, I'm doing this. Oh, Leroy, have you tried this? If you did this, it's like you find that out there, right?
Amazing.
Dude, it's terrible.
We think alike strongly in this subject.
Yes, you and I are aligned, man. Like within that, because it's just, and I've always kind of wanted to be a fly on the wall in one of your sessions because I know that you're listening intently. I know that you're looking out their best interest, holding that mirror up in front of them and saying, "This is you and all in who you can be." Which leads me to ask you, if you're in one of those discovery sessions, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
I love that. And that's a really good question. Let me just say, you ask some of the best questions.
Oh, thank you.
I really have
I'm
to
not trying to trip you up.
I really have to take a pause for a moment.
Yeah, please.
I think people should be able to ask the right questions. Any questions that are going to be asked will open itself for a broader conversation where
100%.
more support can be provided.
Exactly.
I have always tell people, even if you choose not to follow the advice given,
sure,
you should be responsible enough and to be in a position to own the outcome of whatever decision you take, or even decision you refuse to take.
Yes.
And it's also to let people know that, guess what? I am not here as your coach to rob you of agency.
Yes.
I'm not here to take away the responsibility from you. No, in fact, I want you to be even more responsible. I am a guide and I'm here to support you along the way. And I'm here to tap into the experiences I have and the resources I have access to, and the community that I have access to, and how to best pour into you so that you can achieve the goal that you want.
Love that.
Not one that I think is right for you.
Right. Thank you. Because everybody has that challenge inside them, but the solution's there.
Correct.
It's already there. You and I are curious and being like, yo, ask the question. They come up with it, because if I tell them, hey, go do this, they'll be like, and it doesn't work for you, you're an idiot, right? But if they come up with it through yours and mine's curiosity, we hold them accountable, boom, magic happens. But you got to ask you said it a couple times, responsibility. What is Leroy's definition of responsibility?
Simply put, to respond with ability.
Dude, I always say the ability to respond. It's rooted right in the word, right?
Exactly.
It comes from our boy Les, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed to open for him, man. And it's like, dude, that's where I got it. That stuck. That was one of the first things that ever stuck with me. And this was probably 1997, right?
Wow.
The ability to respond. That's exactly what it is. People don't really, it's not react, right?
No.
It's to respond. I love that. So, Leroy, what is your why?
The why for me is
this is so good.
Started out rather, even though in the Caribbean, which is bright and sunny, but rather bleak. It was a bleak environment because, just to give you a bit of a backdrop, my dad was born in 1941. So you're talking about my grand and great grandparents go back in the 1800s.
Wow.
A lot have been deposited in me in terms of the ideas and beliefs I have inherited as a child growing up. But whilst I am blessed for some of the things that was shared with me, I was also restricted by some of the beliefs. And the key thing I'm getting at here is that
Yeah.
beliefs are transferable and beliefs can also be generational. It is a good thing when those beliefs serves you well, all good. But if they don't, you have to have the bravery to break that belief and to create a new belief for yourself that serves you best. And I think that was the biggest challenge I had to do. I had to break free. And having broken free from those beliefs, I actually gave permission for other people to do the same.
Yes.
My why is really to wake people up to realize that there's more to life than you have been told. And as I always say, this line, you can accept what people put in you, or you can be yourself. I would suggest you do the latter.
Love it. It can I ask your age? I've never asked you that. We've rapped for a while, so how old are you?
Half of 70 plus one,
Okay, so
36.
you're
36.
36. Okay, very cool. You look you look young. I'm 53. And but like that means your pops, my pops was born in 48, right?
Wow.
So and your pops was born in 41. So
Mm.
he had you in his 40,
47.
47.
47.
Nine. Wow, that's
Wow.
amazing, man. That's great, man. So like with people ask my why, I've broken it down into 2 words or 3 words: to be useful. That's my why,
Mm.
man. I want to be useful to the world. If you needed me for something, it doesn't even have to be coaching. If you're like, Fergie, dude, I need to rent a car. I'm having a hard time getting one in Palm Beach. Dude, I got you. But I'm saying I want to be like our credo here at Time to Shine today is we don't want to have anyone to feel like they have no one. So if you are looking for a equestrian coach to learn how to ride a horse, I want to have the answer for you. I want to
Wow.
be useful to people, right? And just be that resource because it all circles back. And you said something earlier about the takers out there, right?
Mm.
And like I'm you and me we're go-givers, right? As we give, right? But I gotta ask you something. How are you? And be honest here, because you and I kind of come from our parents were blue collar. Okay, my
Mm.
dad worked on the line at General Motors in Detroit, right, building Chevys, and our brains were not made for money. It wasn't made to how to save it, keep it. I became a millionaire, lost it because I didn't have the identity to keep it, right? But what what how did you get over that lack mindset? Not did not say not love because there's a lot of love in our family, but the lack mindset. How did you break through that?
And that's a beautiful question. And I would say that I struggled. I struggled long and hard. And
Me too, man.
and then I realized that no, this cannot be right because I would not be able to give in the way that I wanted was to give and to care for my loved ones in the way that I wanted to.
Right.
And that came down to was the miseducation that we have all received when it comes to money and wealth.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. And I
100%.
first had to recognize that, guess what? I don't understand this thing and I need to get some knowledge. I need to get some experience. And
Nice.
that's when the reading started, the research started.
Yeah.
And I started to follow some key people in the out there that we all know. I
Yeah.
can
Of
mention the Kiyosaki's and others.
course.
Um,
Got to have the
and
purple books. You got to have
soaking
the,
up
you know,
their material.
yeah.
And when I gained an intelligent knowledge of the subject, then I realized I was doing much better. And I never had to wonder, will I have enough?
Right. Right.
In fact, I now realize I have always had enough. It was just not being managed properly.
Thank
And
you.
that's what it's all about. And most people need to get this, that money is a tool to be used.
Options, baby.
And you need to be able
Yeah.
to use it well. And if you don't use it, it uses you.
Right.
I never wanted to be a slave to it.
Right.
And the only way you're not going to be a slave to it is not to be ignorant of it and how it
Thank
works.
you. It like my whole coaching philosophy is to it even says on my LinkedIn, all my marketing, whatever, is that to live a life of options and not obligations, right? But options cannot be lived without money. The real option, sorry, you have to have it. You can still love without options and love without money, I'm sorry, and whatnot. But I have to ask you, because of your upbringing, and I kind of crisscrossed my wires here when I wanted to ask you this earlier. But how are you? And be honest with me, Leroy, how are you at receiving? Like really receiving? Because I had a hard time, bro. I struggled bad with getting it. Am I worthy of this, dude? Is this, I was attaching my confidence to my abilities. I'm like, how the hell can I speak in front of 500 people? How can I coach a millionaire? And then my coach had to say, listen, you need to attach your confidence to your intentions, right?
Mm.
That's what it is. Once you, if my intention is to rock that crowd, then you're there, right? No one would have put you in front of there unless you could do it. But how are you at accepting, receiving?
I struggled with that too. I
Me
struggled
too.
for a very, very
Yeah,
long
dude.
time
Yeah. Yeah.
until when I get to the place where I realize that the reason why I'm struggling so much is because, again, there's another belief here that is not serving me well.
Yes.
And I had to that up.
Yeah.
And once that was done, then I eased into a place of comfort. And with that ease into this new place where I can now function, it did not only benefit my life, but it benefit those people who are connected to me, and even those who are not connected to me directly, who
Right.
can benefit through the giving that I do. I do emphasize a lot in giving because there are many causes that I am so
100%.
passionate about.
Yes. Yeah. But so many people like I absolutely, and I still kind of suck at receiving. My
Mm,
coach had to say, we were sitting on the beach and she said, listen, that sea grape, which is a tree on the beach, right? That sea grape over there, like, look at it for a second. I looked at it and she's like, you got it in your mind. She's like, keep looking at it. She asked me a question. What do we breathe in? We breathe in oxygen. What do we breathe out? Carbon dioxide. What does that sea grape breathe in? It breathes in carbon dioxide. What does it breathe out? Oxygen. Does the sea grape have a freaking choice? Why do we give ourselves it? You know what I'm saying? That's what really started a breakthrough with me. And then she also took me into her house and hit a key on a piano, and her chandelier moved. That's
mm.
where I learned energy is real, and that accepted that key, and it had no choice; it had to move. You see what I'm saying? It's like
No, no,
it's
I love the analogy. It's really powerful, and I think it conveys the concept really
yeah,
well. And it must, and I think for a very long time, I was in that place where I was a giver, and I am still that.
yeah, absolutely.
But by
You are
making it difficult to receive, and sometimes it's a selfishness, as we need to break away from that because when we also receive from others, the good feeling that I get when I give, I should not be the only one who get to enjoy that. Other people need to enjoy that. So
hell yeah, man.
it's giving gratitude to somebody else as they want to celebrate you and honor you in some ways.
Love
And
that.
it has to be a cycle that
Yes,
benefits everyone on the journey.
love it. So, Leroy, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
I have not visited it or
It'll-
reviewed
dude,
quite recently, but I
next
remember
week it's gonna be 40
very,
years
very
old.
well.
Okay,
Wow.
next week is gonna be 40. So, anyways, so let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, the character in it. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Leroy. Okay,
Mm,
which would be about 14 years ago. Okay,
mm.
so let's drop some knowledge on him. Let's give him some knowledge on it, because not to change anything, because your journey has been pretty freaking awesome. Okay, let's admit it. Okay, but maybe to help Leroy shorten a learning curve or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker.
I would say definitely identify where you want to get to. And if you can't find anyone in your immediate surrounding, find somebody who aligns with you. Because for me, when I saw the person whom I know we'll get to that in a moment,
Sure.
who embody what I wanted was to do, immediately it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this invisible connection, heart to heart, knowing that deep down, I can do that.
Yeah.
And what that did for me as I created a vision for myself, and just a quick definition for what that vision is,
Please.
it's internalized mental picture of a future that is better than the present.
Love it.
And once you can create that vision and you start to move, then everything that is needed to get you to the goal naturally aligns.
Right.
And the only thing that will prevent you from getting there is your belief.
100%.
And so that was the 22-year-old. I had a larger vision for myself, and I needed was to get to someplace. And a key thing here is this: never ask yourself, how am I going to do it? Ask, who can help me to get there?
Thank you. I call it getting your asking gear.
Yes.
Ask people, dude. There's so many people out there that if a kid comes to me and 22, 23 years old, I am going to dump so much knowledge on him in my 53 years that he's going to leave baffled, but I'm going to fill his reticular activating system with so much stuff that it's going to spread that web out and start looking for the stuff, right? And if he continues to come back to me, I'm going to mentor him. You know, that's the people. There are people like that out there. I know we can't afford the coaching right now, but if we can get that generation coming along, right, them paying it forward is enough payback for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I can just see you being that young buck military guy that's out asking for advice. Just like I did, bro. I did. I asked everybody all the time because I knew something wasn't right about getting out of the military and going and working on the line at Ford Motor Company or doing something like that I was brought up doing. Brought up all of our parents did. And I'm not saying it's wrong at all. It's just I just felt like I had a calling for more, right? Which leads me to this with you. How does Leroy want his dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date. Hopefully it's way, way down the line. But on your tombstone, there's always that little dash. How do you want your dash remembered?
I am a person of value, and I would want people to walk away saying that, guess what? He made me see more value in me than I had seen in myself by myself. And I think that's the key, because most of the times people think that the thing that they desire so much is outside of them. No, it's all within you. The key thing is how to unlock that, and you need somebody to help you to bring that out.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I would say.
That's beautiful, man. That is exactly it. Because so many people have the value but they're unable to see it because sometimes parents call them dummy and stupid growing up, or maybe an abusive relationship, and they just don't see that value. If you can remind them of that and lean into that, then the ultimate human starts to come out. And that's amazing. So,
and I think it's a perfect segue again for the name of my company, Team Worth Solution. And
yes,
it's worth
100%.
And the reason for that is the idea and the concept and the principle behind that. Every team has value, but not every team adds value. So all you need to figure out, how can you add the value?
Bro,
I think leadership
say that again. Say that again.
Every team has value, but not every team adds value.
You hear that, squad? Write that down. That is strong.
And the key is to get people how to release the value that they have locked up inside of them. Leadership is all about relationship. Yeah. And I think the people who is really doing a good job at leading are people who can help you to become more valuable to yourself and naturally be able to make a contribution in what space you're in.
And if you're not doing it, you're sinning. And I'm not saying from a religious connotation. The root word of sinning or sin is sinny from Greek, which means missing the mark, right? You are legitimately missing the mark if you're not adding value to people that you can, adding value to yourself. Again, my first 90 minutes when I wake up, I know it's cliche because you see it in every self-help book, but that's me. Cold plunge, boom. Sauna, infrared, boom. Walk my dog, boom. Get in the beach, boom. That's legit me. I'm adding value to myself before anybody else, right? Yeah, because that way I can serve as many people as I can.
Perfect, man. You're on the money.
100%. So what do you think people might misunderstand the most about Leroy?
I think they believe that I have had a life that is all rosy and smooth.
Right.
But they really don't know that I have been through so much to get to where I am today. And I'm still going through that. And
you would never stop, my friend. Right.
I have more scars than most people think.
Right.
The funny thing is, I do not allow my life to be defined by those scars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I draw from that is the lessons learned. And I think one of the things that makes us different from many other people is the fact that we have a history and we have a frame of reference. We have been battle tested.
Yes.
And when we come into this space talking about this subject, we know what we're talking about.
Right.
We're not just thinking about this now.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is Leroy's definition of a life well lived?
A life well lived is a life that was purposeful and a life that was lived to the fullest. And that means it's a life where you are consistently trying to do more than you did the day before. And I think most of the times, most people, they arrive at a place where they become drunk on their success and their achievement, and they fail to get to the next level. I do not get too hung up with accomplishments and achievement. I always ask myself, even though I do celebrate,
You better. Yeah. Right.
what's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
People
There's
like,
always more to
yeah.
do. As long as there's breath in the body, there is something else for me to do, and I need to
Thank
figure out
you.
what that is.
Like people like that are performers. I'll call you a high performer. I'm a high performer because I've earned it, and so have you. But like the top of one peak is the bottom of the next, right?
Yes.
It's just the bottom line. And every time I have a mirror, and it's weird because my fiance laughs at me, but I'll look at it and see like, in the way I'll be like, I'll never see you again. Nice to know you. And I go to bed, and I just want to be better than that dude that I just said goodbye to. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's my whole goal. That's what gets me up in the morning. The only way I can be useful, my why, is to get my ass in the cold plunge, get my ass walking my dog, my ass on the beach, and doing that stuff. Always looking for that edge. That's amazing. Time to shine today, Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Leroy, when you're in Florida or if I'm over across the pond, we'll definitely meet up. I will make it happen. We're gonna will this to happen. Okay. And you and I are gonna talk about some of these questions, probably 15, 20 minutes. Okay. But today, you got 5 seconds with no explanations, and they can all be answered that way. I promise you. You ready to level up?
Oh, yes.
All right. All right, Leroy. He smiled. It's squad. If you're watching, he just smiled. Some people have this, what? He smiles like, bring it. Love this. So, Leroy, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
If you have to lose anything, lose money, but don't lose time.
That's right. Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
I really enjoy taking a long walk, and it gives me time to think. And I think staying that time alone is really cool.
Absolutely. You see me walking down the street or maybe in an event or, yeah, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums, right? What book would you hand me that really flipped a switch in you to level up? Like you just flip my mind around.
I'm going to recommend something new, which is Who Not How by Don Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. It's a really good one.
Gotcha. Donnie, put that in the show notes, please. Thank you. How about your most commonly used emoji when you text?
The big thumb.
Like, oh, my man. Nicknames growing up?
Reds.
Reds? Okay.
Yes.
I'll let you, let's elaborate on this. What's up?
Yeah, I think we should.
What's Reds?
So growing up, so my mother was very fair, whilst my father was much darker. So I inherited the fairer genes.
Okay.
So growing up around my cousins, I was considered to be the red man. So that's
I served with a red man.
That was my name.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I served with a red man, Rex, in the military. And the brothers, right? We call him Red. I'm like, what's up with that? And because I was so neutral and I'm not white or black, right? They were like, let me in on stuff. And then they were like, oh, it's just because look at him. He has a red. So I'm like, okay. So
you know what's funny? Even my parents refer to me by that name as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how about any hidden talent and or superpower that you have that nobody really knows about until now?
Well, actually, I'm a barber. I do a lot of barbering, which most people don't know.
What? Say that again?
Barbering. I cut my own hair.
Cut hair. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes.
very cool. Very cool. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
I would definitely say checkers because I have not been having some good games.
Well, yes, checkers is definitely a coach's game, right? Definitely. I love it. Headline for your life.
Forever purposeful.
Love that, dude. Love it. Go to ice cream flavor.
Vanilla.
All right. There's a sandwich called the Reds. Build that sandwich for me. What are we eating on that sandwich?
A lot of meat,
Yeah.
more meat, and meat. Put some lettuce and cucumber on top.
Yeah, and some man candy, a little bacon on there. Well, that's a meat, right? Throw a little man candy on there. I love that.
And let's
Favorite
get the
chair,
protein
right? Favorite charity and or organization like to give your time and or money to?
I would say definitely the healthcare system
Okay,
because it tugs something deep in me.
good, good. Love that. Last question. You can elaborate on this a little bit, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Definitely 70s for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Me too, actually. What's your reasoning for the 70s?
Again, it goes back to my history because most of the music I was listening to actually came from that era.
Dude,
And at the time
yes.
when you never really had much access to most of the music you could select
Okay.
yourself, you basically absorb what you heard
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
And most of the music coming from the sound system in my community and neighborhood,
Right.
they are being etched in memory.
I love that. I love the 70s. I graduated high school in 1990, right? And so the 80s was huge for like invasions from different countries. What I mean by that, like U2, Duran
Mhm.
Duran and stuff. So it was big hair, don't care, rap stuff. But the 70s had all the great storytellers.
Of course.
Crow Chief, Lightfoot, the Eagles, Marley. Like everybody had stories that they were telling. And that's what I love to listen. Like when I'm listening to a podcast, when I listen to this again and I start building show notes, I'll have the 70s on. Just know this. I'll have the 70s on when I'm like re-listening and sending it to my editor, right? So that's awesome. So you did mention something about lose money, but don't lose time. I want you to go a little bit on that one. Because you said it during our lightning round, and I heard that and I got curious.
Yes, because there are so many people who believe that the most valuable thing they have is money. And they fight. So this is a poor, let's just say it's somebody with a poor mindset, with a scarcity mindset that suffers from this the most.
Thank you. Yep.
And they want to hold it so much. But what they do not know is if you really want that freedom and if you really want to be your best and you want to achieve those personal, professional, and those other goals,
Accolades.
social contribution,
Right.
you have to be in a better place.
Yeah.
And all you're going to get there is through collaboration and partnership, not by yourself.
Right.
And some of those areas you will need to invest. And I think for far too long, people try to hold on to small amounts of money, which is depreciating in value every day,
Sure.
to invest with the right people so that they could get further faster
Sure.
and be able to make a more meaningful contribution, both to themselves and others.
Love it. Love it. You nailed it on that 100% because we don't get the time back, dude.
No,
It's
we don't.
impossible. It's a commodity that see ya, bye.
And
That's
that is why
why
I say, and again, I have to salute you for what you're doing here because this, when 40, 50 years in the future, when they look back, they will always have this record to say, this is what Fergie, this is what you were doing in this time, enlightening the masses and empowering people.
right.
And that is why I said history will look back upon you and your
Thank
team,
you.
kindly for what you do.
And you too, my friend. 100%, brother. So how can we find you, Leroy?
The easiest way, just connect with me on LinkedIn at my name, Leroy Roberts.
Okay. Gotcha. And I think that's where you and I actually met.
Correct.
Is on LinkedIn, right? And you do have a nice little link tree as well that people can find you for a connection call, disconnection, fixing. Yeah, I mean, speaker, get this guy on your stage, especially if you're over there overseas, which I know I have a nice little following on the other side of the pond. Get this guy on your stage now. You will not go wrong. So tell us a little bit about your coaching programs.
Yeah, so the coaching program is definitely about my core passion, which is really helping leaders fixing disengaged and disconnected teams and how you can really transform your working environment to ensure that you have an harmonious, cohesive team
Dude,
that
you
is
nailed it.
motivated
Yeah.
and that is really contributing to the bottom line. And that's what it's all about. It's solving issues which is pretty much widespread, especially now in a digital
Yeah.
age.
And I love that you said harmonious because a lot of people will say balance. And to me,
Mhm.
balance is junk. Balance 10 pounds one side, 10 pounds the other. It's out. That's just zero. Now you need balance within harmony, right?
Mhm.
But like I love jazz, dude. Like jazz is my thing, right? So like I think that God or spiritual is the drums, personal growth might be the horns, family is the piano, and on through the different pillars of our life. If one of them is out of tune, the music sounds like crap. But you don't have to be freaking Jimmy Page on the guitar, Beethoven on the piano. But if you get a coach like you, bring back that harmony, right? Then you got some good sounding music again. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for, to build that harmony. Now we do need the balance within the harmony. We still need to tune in the
Correct.
guitar and tune in the keys on the piano. But if you're just looking for balance, dude, sorry, ain't gonna ever find it. Okay, like you just said, harmonious, find that harmony, right? And you do have one-on-one coaching programs, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So one-on-one with coaching. So for those people who want to have that personal time, you want me to breathe life into what you do, then that would definitely be an option open for you, and it can be tailored specifically to suit your needs.
Love it. And that generally lasts how long? Around 8 weeks? I mean, it could be short, and you said that you kind of can put it together, but generally 8 weeks, brother?
6 to 8 weeks generally. However, it can be condensed because I do know that people in this space are quite busy and pressed for
Sure.
time.
Right.
So it was designed with flexibility in mind to give a more tailored offering.
Love it. And do you have group coaching as well?
That's correct. So for
Okay.
those who are more in favor of the group form,
Sure.
then that is also available and you can access that just the
So,
same.
like, would you recommend them kind of go through the one-on-one with you and then enter a group?
One-on-one is definitely, if it's something that suits you at this time,
Okay.
would I definitely recommend, because that's when you got direct access to me
Right.
and you're pulling on me right there and then as a resource personnel.
Right.
And we create a different synergy in those one-on-one conversation, which you would not have access to within a group format.
Love it. In the group format, sometimes you'll have group formats and you help the people within there have you, but they can
Correct.
also help keep each other accountable. Is that kind of a big thing within the groups?
That's correct. And what we do, so the group does help for that, but what the group was specifically designed for is to get people in who might not be in a position to access the one-on-one
Hmm?
service at the time. It might not be a right fit for them. And so the group option is there to ensure that everybody can have
You can
access
say it, the
to
affordability
expertise.
of it, right?
Correct.
Love it. Okay.
And but the real gem definitely for people who do sign up both in the one-on-one and group community, they do have access to become a part of the mastermind program. And that's where we have that strong community of people where you will constantly need to feed off each other and to be a part of a community where you can get that type of support going forward, which is very, very crucial in this space.
I love that.
The reason why I mentioned that, because most people think that this space is about once and done.
Right.
That's not the case. I have 3 letters for you. Mike, Foxtrot, Mike, Foxtrot, Alpha.
Okay.
And the reason why I put that in is because you will need motivation, you will need constant feedback, and also you will need somebody there that you can go back to whenever you need a recharge. And that is why I do, of course, emphasize the importance of a community. And you would know that, Scott, from
Absolutely. Yeah. And what I love is you keep the door open for whatever is going to fit for them. So if they go into the group coaching, they level up, but then they want time with Leroy straight up, then you give them that option to have one-on-ones with you. That's the epitome of service, man. So I appreciate that. And Leroy, do me one last solid, please, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Yes. So in the space that we're in, which has been badly disrupted by AI and technology,
Sure.
it remains true to this day that what was once considered to be a soft skill is no longer soft. And I think no more than ever before, the ability to communicate, the ability to connect on a human level is now critical. And the good thing is these skills can be learned and can be developed. And I would encourage anyone out there, if you want to be relevant and useful in this day and age, you definitely need to invest in that area, because that's the one thing that will never be from you if you invest in that area.
I love that. Yeah, connection, community is absolutely paramount. And squad, we just had, again, a really awesome masterclass with my good friend Leroy Roberts. He's a person that was made by not only kindness, but also the cruelty of others. And he reminds us that who we should be and also not be like can be learned through those two separate people. A great coach is an individual programs for each of his clients that has a burning desire to really lean into them, listen with his neck to see what is going to work best for them, hold that mirror up, and then hold them accountable. Adding value is key to my good friend Leroy. A great coach will create an environment of psychological safety to speak freely, to feel like he or she can just pour out to the coach. And that way you can actually, again, psychological safety. I've never heard anyone say it. Squad, I'm going to steal it from my boy Leroy, and I'm going to use this because that is exactly what I try to make them feel comfortable and psychologically safe. Good coach will not rob you of your agency. He, like me, believes that responsibility is the ability to respond, not react, but to respond. And squad, my good friend Leroy is planting trees he's never going to sit in the shade of. Just not going to. It's going to outlive him, outlast him. Why? Because he does things for the intention and not the attention. He's not out there saying, look at me, look at me. No, he actually is pouring into people. He believes that beliefs are transferable and generational. And if they are and it's not serving you, let me make you a warm introduction to my good friend Leroy so he can help you break that chain, start a new belief cycle that will bleed down into your kids and their kids and whatnot. So identify where you want to get to. And if you don't know how to, get your asking gear. There are people out there that want to be people of value, people that want, like my good friend Leroy, you to see more in you than you could ever see from yourself. And lastly, connection on a human level is critical. As we move into this Terminator age, the AI taking over, don't get me wrong, it all has its place, but connection on a human level is critical. That's why I will never ever leave this profession, because I'm a human being, human doing. I'm out there wanting to help and pour into people, and so does my good friend Leroy, who levels up his health, he levels up his wealth. He's humble yet hungry. He's a handsome devil. He's out there getting it done. He's earned his varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on, Leroy. I absolutely love your guts, man.
No, thank you, Scott. You're amazing and you're a superstar.
Thank you, man. Talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you. All the very best.